Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session of the ConnectWare Quarterly Brief. My name is Erin Errol, and I'll be your moderator for this afternoon. We're incredibly excited to have you join us for our Q2 update. As we transition to our new quarterly cadence, these briefings are specifically designed to give you a direct window into the engineering home base, keeping you completely synchronized on where the platform is heading. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on some powerful new automation and intelligence features hitting the platform. Joining us to break down the technical details are Kevin Selkowitz, our VP of UCaaS, and Aaron Bailey, our product manager. Before I hand it over to them, just a quick housekeeping note. We will be hosting a live technical Q&A at the end of this presentation, so please feel free to drop your questions into the chat at any time. And with that, Aaron, I turn it over to you to kick things off for us.
Well, welcome everyone. If we've not met before, you're pretty lucky. My name is Aaron Bailey, and I am one of the product managers here at Phonesuite. And today I am very pleased to talk about a new feature that we have in the ConnectWare hospitality system, and that is lost and found. So every hotel, big or small, has lost and found. And most hotels don't have a specific system for it. They just have an Excel sheet or a piece of paper, and they have a box somewhere where all the stuff lives. And it's a very manual process and very difficult to manage at times. And training new staff on it is sort of a, hey, here's kind of what we do, and going, go forward from there. There are specific systems you can buy that manage lost and found. But we decided that we were going to add that feature to ConnectWare. So we have a new lost and found feature. And because it is the age of AI, we also built in AI to that feature. So you can, if you're a staff member of the hotel, you can, if you find an item, take a picture of it, and then AI will take and try and create a note and some information about that picture and create a lost and found item for you. If that doesn't work well, or if you don't want to take the picture, or you don't want to deal with the AI features, that's fine. This feature works completely without the AI, without uploading a picture. You can just go in, type in a few fields, where it was found, what the item is, etc., and then save that. And it's all accessed from the hospitality console, so you don't need a third-party software, and you don't need to track those manual data sheets or those Excel sheets or some piece of paper somewhere any longer. So we're going to go through a little bit more in detail, and I'm going to show you a demo on how this works. So again, designed to make lost and found efficient and very easy to deal with, and make sure that we don't, if an item is found, it doesn't get lost again in errors in tracking it or putting it in a spreadsheet. We do as much of that work as we can for you. The system also has an automatic lifecycle. So once an item is entered, it's going to stay there for 90 days. So there's also not any work that you have to do as a hotel to go in and clean stuff out afterwards. We figured that 90 days was pretty good in terms of a lost and found item. After 90 days, it's very unlikely that anyone's going to call back for it or ask for it or try and claim it. So let's take a quick look at the feature and how it works. So I'll pop over here. So here we have our hospitality console. And once enabled, you're going to have a lost and found item here. And then when you click that, you can see here we have an item that's already been found. And we can see some information about it. And if we view it here, we can see an image that we took to generate the description. We have some tags here so that you can search by that. But we also have the location where it was found, the date it was found, and the time when it expires. So all of that is there for you. The reason that we use so much detail is we want it to be very easy to find later, because a guest might describe their item in several different ways. And so if you have a big hotel and you find 10, 12 items a week, the list can get long. And so you want to be able to quickly go up here and search and be able to find exactly the item that you're looking for. And that's another good reason to use the picture, is that you have then a good picture for the person later who's on the phone trying to find the item. Instead of fishing around in some box somewhere, you just have the pictures here so you can search for a jacket and then ask them to describe it a bit more and really see and make sure that you're getting the right item. But let's go ahead and find a new item here. So it's just as easy as a click. We can add item. And again, if you don't want to use the AI features or you don't want to take a picture of it or whatever, that's fine. Just go in here and add a summary, some tags, the item name, the location it's found, and the date it was found. You can also add some additional notes here, but that's optional. And then from there, you can just click save and the item is saved, but you don't have a picture. So if we do this, I'm going to go ahead and select an image here. And give me one moment here. We do this. The image will get uploaded, and then the system will automatically process that. And as you can see here, we have a book. And note that we have a very good title. So it tells you the title of the book and the author. We have some information on the tags here. So it was a book. It's a business book. It's navy and yellow, just in case you want to search for a book by color instead of by name. You have all of that. Now, obviously, the picture itself is not going to include any information about where the item was found. So that's still going to need to be entered manually. And then you're going to put a date found. So in case you found this yesterday or last week, what have you, you enter that there, and it'll automatically calculate the expiry date. You see here a description again. We have a lot of information. And this is the real power of AI, is that you can upload a picture and reduce a huge amount of manual labor in adding all that detail. You also get, as you note, a lot more detail than any person is going to add. If you hand added this at a hotel, they would probably just put book, they might put the title, and that's it. You're not going to get as much detail as you get with the AI. Once you're all done, save changes, and then it's going to appear here in your list of items that you can then retrieve and hopefully return to their guests. Again, automatically it's going to cycle out after 90 days, so you don't have to do anything to go in here and clean it up. But if somebody does call for their item and you do return it, you can go in here and delete it. So we know that it's been returned and it's not in the lost and found system anymore. The last note I'll make on this, with the AI picture, it is possible that it messes up, especially if you do something weird, like if you take a picture of multiple items, or if you took a jacket, for example, and balled it up and then took a picture of it, it's very likely that AI is not going to do a good job of identifying that item. So it is going to require a little bit of testing, but if you're training on this, I would encourage you to tell the staff, hey, take a picture of the item on a background, the floor, table, whatever, but make sure nothing else is in the picture, then a sort of a flat background, and make sure that the item, whatever it is, especially a clothing item, is kind of laid out for best identification. You're going to get your best results that way. Worst case scenario, if you do take the picture and the AI returns something strange, you can delete it and try again, or just manually enter it. So just be aware, AI, not perfect, and it's not quite as good as humans in identifying an item, especially if it's, like I said, if you take a ball up a jacket or take the picture with multiple items in it, that's going to be pretty hard for AI to figure out. So couple of caveats there, but we're hopeful that this feature is really handy for hotels. As I mentioned at the beginning, all hotels have lost and found. It doesn't matter if you're a franchisee or you're a small hotel or a big hotel or where in the nation you are. Every hotel is going to deal with lost and found. And now that's an additional feature and some additional value that the customers can get out of ConnectWare. And with that, that is all I have for the lost and found. If you have any questions about this, please add them to chat, and we will come back around to this here in just a little bit and answer any questions that you might have.
Thanks, Aaron. Just a note to all of our viewers, while we lock down the final pricing details on our lost and found feature, we want to give our top tier partners a chance to shape the roadmap right now. So we are officially offering applications for early beta access. If you have a property or strategic client eager to be the absolute first to deploy AI image recognition, keep an eye on your inbox. We'll be sending out a post-webinar email containing a direct application to link and submit your requests to participate in the beta program. So that covers the physical floor automation. Now I'm going to pass the mic over to Kevin to talk about a major development coming to call reporting intelligence.
Yeah, I'm excited. So this feature, this just so everybody knows, we're expecting this in June. It's post-call notes. So for a hotelier, somebody like a GM or catering sales, I think this is going to be a cool feature. So after a call, roughly 10 minutes, you're going to get an email, and it's going to detail kind of your to-do list from the meeting, as well as anything that was agreed upon, anything that was parked, a little summary, and so on. So it kind of is your note taker during a long call for follow-up items. We go to the next slide. So there are a few technical requirements. We are using the call recording. So we will need to have call recording enabled on those extensions that we want to use this for. We are also leveraging the transcription service. So the we kind of, I went back and forth through design of, do we run the transcript separately? Do we use the main transcript on recording? And I decided it was best just have a single source of transcript. So you must have the transcription service. We talked about the recording transcripts a few months ago in one of the webinars. So that will be enabled. And essentially we're using an AI analysis on that transcript to generate the email. And of course, the user to get that will have to have an email. So obviously somebody like a front desk that doesn't have an email necessarily, and they probably wouldn't want the feature anyways, it's not going to work for them. So just something to know, we're nearing completion, and hopefully we'll see this next month. So the next, thanks.
All right, before we wrap up the technical portion of today's deck, I want to look ahead at our brand new technical touch-based framework. So moving forward, we're officially adopting a new quarterly cadence. Every 3 months, we'll invite you to join us for a high-level briefing on the shifting ConnectWare ecosystem. So these are built specifically to provide an engineering sync, and we want to give you direct access to our product leads and pull back the curtain on the core architectural logic powering our new software drops. And Kevin, I'll hand it over to you to introduce a few other enhancements we're working on.
Yeah, so a little kind of a bunch of little things that we're doing right now. So one feature that got released already was guest service robot integration. So we actually have this deployed in APAC. So, if you call down, you need some towels, they can load up the towels in the robot, send it to the room. The problem is a lot of the robots can't knock, or if they can knock, it's a very gentle knock. And so they were finding people were missing the robot. And so we added an API so that the robot, once it gets to the room, can call the room and tell them, hey, I'm here, come get your stuff from the robot. So that is available now, very simple integration with robots. We added enterprise SSO. So one of the large flags wanted to use their enterprise SSO. So now that's available with the major brands to use that. We're also making some improvements. The PSG gateways, the hook flash transfer, We're working on a new firmware on the 48 port. It looks like it's fine on the 24 port, but the 48 port is not doing a hook flash transfer. So we'll get a fix out for that here shortly. And then a couple things that frankly we are improving. I don't think anyone's going to notice, but it's been a problem sometimes with the auditors when they're out. They expect everything to be immediate, and there was a delay. So we're improving performance of MWI after check-in. And then we're changing the way caller ID works when you call a room. So here again, after a check-in, there was a period where the caller ID when you call the room was not correct. And we are changing that as well. So that will be seconds to get that update through. So just kind of some performance improvements that I think will make things a little smoother.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Kevin and Aaron, for the comprehensive walkthrough. We're now opening up the floor to our live technical Q&A. And as a quick reminder, you can ask Kevin and Aaron anything regarding today's features or any questions you may have in general. Simply type your questions directly into the GoToWebinar questions pane located at the top right corner of your screen. All right, Aaron, you have the floor.
Perfect.
A couple of questions have come in.
Yeah. So I want to encourage those questions. We always love the questions. Before I dive into those, there's one other thing I wanted to mention with the beta. If you would like to be the test for the lost and found feature, the only thing that I'm going to highly encourage you to do is check back in with the hotel after a couple of weeks, after they have some time to use it, to make sure that it's working for them and see if they have any feature requests. We did our due diligence with hotels on how they manage lost and found, but there's every possibility that some hotel out there is doing something clever that we didn't think of, or they want some sort of feature, maybe an email or something. And so we'd love that feedback. Well, obviously, we want it to work as well for your customers and the hotels as possible, but that does mean that you do need to talk to them and ask them how well it's going. Don't just give it to them and hope it's going well, especially on the first couple. And then please give us that feedback. If you get anything at all about it working well or not working well, or any strange things that AI thinks it found in the pictures, we'd love to know that. And we can adjust some system prompts and things like that if we notice any strange behavior, and make sure we try and tune that in. So just my plug for being the beta. I always appreciate the feedback. You guys are usually pretty good about that. So let me go through here a couple of questions that we have. So question here, can the staff use any mobile device to snap a photo of the lost item? Or does it require a specific app? And the answer is no. There's no app required. They can use any cell phone to take a picture. And there's a couple of ways to do this. You could log into the hospitality console from your phone and then go to the lost and found and be able to snap a picture and add the item right from there. And that's great. That'll work really well. The other option is if the hotel staff, maybe they're not using their cell phone, so they don't want to log into the hospitality console on the fly, or on the go rather, they can tag the item with where it was found, bring it down to a central location, and then one person there can snap pictures of the item with a tag of where and when it was found, maybe visible on the picture somewhere, and then either email them to themselves or send them to somebody else, and someone else can go in and just once a day go in and update all the lost and founds and upload the pictures that way. So there's lots of options to do it. It doesn't have to be done live from a cell phone, but if you do take a picture somehow, some way, and get it into the system, that's going to be best. But again, you can do it all manually if you want, and then that way that avoids all of your tracking with an Excel sheet or whatever else. Another question, what happens if an item is found after the 90-day auto-expiry? So if someone calls in and says, hey, I need that item, and you look and it's not there, but maybe you think it was in the past. They say, oh yeah, I was there 6 months ago and I lost my cell phone. It's like strange. It does auto filter out Now, there are ways for us to go back and look at all those items, but generally after 90 days, it's going to be filtered out. We think, again, that that's a pretty good window. Most people are going to call within a couple of days if they think they lost something there. So we think 90 days is going to be more than sufficient. But again, if you get any feedback from customers that they have requirements in their hotel, like maybe it's some unknown Marriott standard that it be held for 120 days, and we're just not aware of it, that would be invaluable information to give us, and then we can make sure to make those adjustments.
I'm pretty sure I noticed my cell phone missing after 15 minutes. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sometimes you get some weird stuff, like somebody leaves behind a single shoe, and it's like, who is this person? Where are they? And then I had one more question here for the lost and found is how good is it at recognizing small items like a single piece of jewelry or like a phone charger or something like that? Um, the answer is it's going to vary. As I mentioned before, the AI is pretty good at identifying items, but certainly not perfect. So if you have a generic black phone charger and the cord is wound up, taking a picture of that may not identify it perfectly as a phone charger. It may just say an electronic device or a charger and miss some of the key details. With jewelry, also that's going to be a little bit hit and miss depending on how you take the picture. Are you holding it in your hand if it's a ring, or did you lay it on the counter? Again, it's going to be something you're just going to have to play with a little bit. And especially during the beta, I would encourage you to tell your customers that it is a new feature, and you might want to take a picture. And if it adds something strange or just inaccurate, be mindful of that. Read it, make sure it's right, especially the first couple. If it's not, blank it out, try again, or just enter it manually at that point. It's not going to be perfect. There will be some cases where you take a picture and the AI thinks it's one thing, and you're looking at that going, "What? Where did you get that from?" So it will not be perfect. So just be aware of that. But hopefully, again, in all the testing we've done, we've tested with a lot of various items that tend to be left behind. We've done different pictures and different lighting and different settings and different, close-ups and far away, and it does a pretty good job. So I think you'll be impressed. And the other thing is that these models are only getting better in the future. So if there are some, edge cases that don't work well now, we'll probably get rid of them as we go forward in the next 6 months to a year, down to the point where it's 98%, 99% recognition. Again, if you take a reasonable picture, then that's the other thing. If you have 6 items on the floor and you're taking it from a weird angle back up in a dark room, it's very likely that it's not going to be able to identify the item. So you do have to try and meet it halfway at least. Yeah, those are some good questions here. Let's see, what else do we got? I think we have one for Kevin. Does the post-call note summary email go to the person who made or received the call, or can it be routed to a management distribution list, or where does it go?
yeah, it's going to go to the user of. So it looks up, if my case, like if I make the call or receive the call, it's going to recognize that this is, extension 1014. It's going to look up my email or email addresses and use that. So it's not going to be configurable with other like distribution lists.
Okay. And then one other question here, and then we had a couple more for the lost and found too, so I'll get back to those here in a second. Let me find the other question here. Where was it? Is there a limit on call duration for the transcript engine to generate a summary? Like, for example, if we have an hour-long meeting or a 2-hour-long phone call, what can we expect out of that?
I mean, there is a limit. I have to do the math on it, but it's very large. There's a context window for AI when we feed the transcript in. It's not going to be hours. It's not going to be a couple hours, that's for sure. So I wouldn't worry about that. I mean, admittedly, I don't know how it's going to perform on a 8-hour phone call. that may be problematic, but I think for the typical phone call, yeah, 30 minutes, an hour, something like that, it'll be great. I think your caveats earlier were very good. We need to set expectations. It is, AI is not perfect in its comprehension. And we're having to pick a moderate model. This is not the latest Claude to maintain costs, so it's not the smartest thing on earth. But our testing, it's been pretty smart actually.
Yeah, even some of the lower line or the flash models I've been very impressed with them.
Yeah. It's not, this is not a thinking task, it's not
Yeah.
trying to solve complex math problems that have stumped humanity for, centuries. It's reading text.
Let's see here. A couple more questions for AI stuff. Can you provide the prompt details and ask AI to reassess the picture? So to reassess the picture, I would probably just start over. If it really screwed it up, take a new picture, cancel that item, and then just start again and see if a new picture will help. I don't know the exact prompt we're using. I believe it's fairly simple. I don't think it's proprietary or anything. It's basically, this is a picture of an item and generate a description for lost and found in a hotel and a certain number of tags. It's going to be a little bit more detailed than that because in the response, we want to be able to pull out the tag and the description. So we probably have a very specific way that it's formatted, but the general prompt is just that simple. It is, this is an item, describe it, add some tags. So yeah, and again, we're going to fine tune that as we go and as we find edge cases. So if you find those, please let us know. And then another question, is there the ability to email and or text lost and found cases to the guest? Not yet. We have considered other things that we might want to do with this feature, but for now, we want to give you the base feature, the AI image, and then see what our customers, your customers and ours, want out of it. There are a couple of things that we already have in the back of our heads for things that we might want to do. But for now, we're trying to keep it simple, release it, let's see how it cooks. But that would be great feedback. If you're getting from customers, hey, I'd like to email this out, or I'd like to be able to print a label to return it to the customer, things like that. And at some point in the future, don't hold me to this, but maybe if the feature that Kevin talked about, the description and the to-do item of a call, if we can tie that closely enough to a lost and found item and identify that call as pertaining to that lost and found item, we might be able to do things like generate a note in that lost and found item that says this needs to be returned to this address. And then you have that information right there and available to you. But otherwise, Kevin's feature that he talked about would give you the notes and the to-do of that call, even though today it doesn't tie it directly to the lost and found item. And we're in a little bit of uncharted territory with the AI stuff. So again, feedback is very welcome, and checking with your customers is going to be a very good thing to do. Don't just assume that they're fine because they didn't say anything. Call up and ask and say, how well is this working for you? Are there any problems? Did you notice anything weird? Or do you have people who like using it? If it's too difficult to use, that's valuable feedback too. We need to know that so we can try and figure out if there's an easier way to allow them to use the feature.
Well, I want to give a huge thank you to Kevin and Aaron for the insights, and thank you to all of our partners for joining the broadcast. As a final reminder, keep an eye out in your inbox. We'll be sending out the full webinar replay recording once it's been processed, along with the application link to apply for our AI Lost and Found beta program. Also, if you're traveling to High Tech in San Antonio next month, we would love to connect with you in person. Please come see the team at booth 1430 right in the front near the entrance to catch up and see some of our features live. If you have a live property design, an immediate project deployment hurdle, or need quoting support, please reach out directly to Jeff Sutherland at jsutherland@phonesuite.com. And thank you again for your time. Stay tuned for our next quarterly webinar. announcement, and have a great afternoon.